is so sorry. So it's just going to give you a little bit work because the first part is very good. She started explaining what budgeting is. So please, you want to go back. But we will just go through it briefly. Okay, sorry for the interruption. We're still working on things. We're trying everything for you to make sure that you get the information that needed this morning. That's why we have to cut it and make sure everything is working. I hope the sound is working now. Please, can you give me a thumbs up if your sound is working and everything is fine? If you can hear me, can you please give me a thumbs up right now, wherever you're watching from? Wherever you are watching from, can you please give me a thumbs up? Okay. Can you let me know? So I'm on now. Okay. Is yours coming? Good. Okay. So we're talking about budgeting today. Okay, spending and budgeting, and normally spending is not our issue. It's the budgeting that is our issue. So that's what we are going to focus on. So I asked Lady, what is budgeting? I think we have to go back to that. So those of you who are joining us now, you will know what we are talking about. Please continue to share the video for me. I'm very, very sorry for all the breaks up. But please continue to share the video. Hopefully, we won't have any issue going forward. But please continue to share the video for me. And those of you who take lunch because of this, sorry, today you might have to run to the office before we finish. But thank you so much for joining, all right? Thank you. I'm very, very grateful once again for coming back. So, Lady, let's talk about the budgeting again. What is budget?
Right.
Yes.
And as Pastor Victoria said, we had defined budgets as a plan that you put in place to help you manage or maintain the money that is coming into your pocket. So really what a budget is the ability to control your money so your money doesn't control you. You just have that control over it so you know exactly what that money is doing as soon as you receive it. So really that's what budgeting is. And I did mention that just like how you plan your day, you plan your week, you want to plan your money. Because if you don't plan your money, that's when you get into that habit of saying, I don't even know what happened. I don't know how, I don't have any more money. I don't know what happened to my money. The money just disappeared. Yes, it disappeared because you didn't have a plan for it.
Wow. So somebody will say that, why should I need budget? I have a secure job. I know every week I'm going to get $1,000. So why should I need a budget? I just have to pay my mortgage, whatever, and the rest, I go to the mall. Why should I need budget? Why do I have to budget myself? Why?
You know, the interesting thing, because we're Christians, right? I believe that there's a biblical foundation for every single thing that we do.
Wow.
And you'd be surprised how much the Bible talks about money, budgeting, leaving a legacy, and your finances in general. When you read the book of Luke, chapter number 14 and 28, and this is just for all of us, when I read the scripture, it blew my mind. It says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Wouldn't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not ready to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish it.
Wow.
When I read this scripture, I was like, wow. You know, this pretty much sums up what a budget is. It tells you that before you decide to do anything, you need to have a plan in place. Because when you don't have a plan, you would start that thing, and then in the middle of it, you will stop. You would get distracted, things will come up, and so you will no longer be able to complete that plan that you've put in because you don't have a plan. So you're just doing it. When you have a plan, you know that you go left, you go right, you do this, you climb up, you climb down. And that way, you're able to accomplish the task. In the scripture, it tells us that if we are not able to budget well, people will ridicule us. Because we are in a time where we're all growing, right? We want to be able to have good jobs, especially for the younger people who are in college. You know, you would graduate, you have a great job. You need to start the habit of budgeting now so it becomes something that is just natural for you, so that people don't look at you and say, wow, this person has a degree in whatever, or they have a great job, but they're not able to even manage their money well. Look at the way that they're living. You know what I'm saying? And that's how people ridicule you.
Okay.
So you need to make sure that you have a plan and a budget in place for your money. It is very, very important that we understand what a budget does for us. Budgets are there to improve your life. It's not there to scare you. It's not there to, you know, make you live frugally or do whatever, but it's there to really just align your goals with your money. That's why budgeting is so, so important.
So I think I asked a normal family like mine, 5, families, then with a normal income, which you say is that my normal will not be somebody's normal, but at least with a normal income, how are we going to consider budgeting with whatever amount that we have?
Right. So, and like you rightfully said, a normal income for you will not necessarily translate to be a normal income for another family, right? And I think I was telling you earlier on that it doesn't even matter. Sometimes a normal income might be normal. So it might be, say, a family of 5. Your monthly income is $2,000. That's normal income. You know, we have to understand that when it comes to budgeting, there's so many different factors that you have to consider. You want to consider, what is my end goal? You know, and if you know your end goal is savings, if you know your end goal is debt repayment, if you know your end goal is to live a certain lifestyle that makes you feel good, then your budget will reflect that. So for a normal family that makes $2,000 a month, one person might say, you know, we want to pay off our house in 5 years. That's the goal for that family. And so any additional money that they have extra after they have paid their normal bills goes towards paying down their mortgage. Another family might have, you know, their goals might be, we want to be able to travel the world. And so they start to save towards that. Somebody might say, I want to buy a Louis Vuitton purse. And so that's their goal when it comes to their budgets. And so they pay for all of these different things that they need to pay in order to live. And then the extra money goes towards buying that luxury product. And so when it comes to budgeting, it's very, very subjective. It's not, we don't have a universal template that everybody can follow. This is how much you put down for your rent or mortgage. This is how much you put down for your utilities. It's very, very unique to every single family or every single individual. And so with that, I want us to really go into the different types of budgets that we have, right? So there are 3 different budgets, systems, or different plans of budgets that people usually use. The first one is the zero-based budget. A lot of people use that. And the reason that one is very, very good is it actually helps you put a name to every single dollar that you have. So as soon as you receive your income, every single dollar is assigned to do something. It has a position. It has something that it needs to do. And so you would take your income and then you would subtract all of your expenses out of it, and the end result should be 0. It should not be negative. It should not be positive. It could be positive depending on what all you have in your budget. But like I said, if your goal is to pay down debt, let's say you subtract out your rent and everything comes out and you have a balance of, say, $200. If you have a credit card bill that is outstanding, you have a large credit card, you would take that $200 and you would go and you would pay that off. This way, you're not saving. You're not budgeting to save. You're budgeting to pay debt. So that
Oh.
is the first type of budgeting.
Okay.
And that's why it's very, very, like I said, budgeting is very subjective. You have to know what you're budgeting for, what your end result is. The second one is the percentage style. And I think the last time I was here, I had mentioned that. So the percentage style, the standard percentage style is 50, 30, 20, where you spend 50% of your income on your bills.
Okay.
And then you save 30%, and you spend the 20% on, your wants. So
Okay.
50 for bills, 30 for for savings, and then 20 for your everyday living or your wants. I revised that a little bit because, like I said, we are Christians, and I think before we started the show, we were talking about even tithing, right?
Yeah.
How we consider tithing as a bill, as opposed to as opposed to a want or something that we can just do whenever we want. We know that just as much as we pay our rent,
Rent,
and that is
yeah.
a necessity, your tithing is also a necessity. So I have revised that percentage style to be 50, 20, 20, and 10.
Okay.
So you use 50% for your usual bills, you use 20% as your savings, 20% covers your wants. You want to go to the restaurant, you want to, go to the movies, and then you put your 10% towards your tithing. So those are the two styles. The third one is the cash envelope system.
Okay.
And I talked about that a lot the last time I was here as well, and this is something that I personally use. So this type of budgeting system works for people who are highly undisciplined.
Oh.
Right here. If you have an issue with discipline,
Okay.
then the cash envelope system would work for you. This way, you don't get swipe happy, right?
Okay.
Because Pastor Victoria, we get, whenever we have our credit card or our bank
Yeah.
cards with us, it's so easy for you to walk into Target, walk into Walmart, or walk into any of these stores, and you see these little cute stuff, and you want to buy them.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've realized is that even for mothers end up spending a whole lot, but they don't
whole lot.
spend on themselves.
Yeah.
They spend on their children. They spend on their family. A mother would go out and they would see a cute outfit and they want to buy it for their child. To them, it's necessary.
Yeah.
They might see a nice toy and they want to buy it for them. They might see a nice shirt, they want to buy it for their spouse. And so mothers, a lot of times, will spend money that they don't need to be spending. And so if you are that type of a person, cash out of your bank, and you
Okay.
allocate it to each specific category, and you have envelopes that you put them in, you label the envelope and you have it there. So especially for like groceries, if you know that monthly we want to spend $500 on groceries, then you put that $500 in your groceries envelope. So every time that you go out to buy groceries, you take money out of that. If you look in there and you're already at day 15 of the month, and you have $100 left, then you know that, okay, well, no, we have a problem, and so I need to be a little bit careful with how much money we're spending on groceries, or, tell the kids, eat a little bit less or something. So those are the different types of budgeting techniques that are out there. So
Okay.
depending on what your goal is, will determine which type of technique that you use. Some people might use a combination of multiple of them. Some
Okay.
people might use, the percentage style with the cash envelope style, or they might use a zero-based style with the cash envelope or with the percentage style. So it just all depends on what works best for you and your family.
Yes, but somebody might say that although I know I'm in debt and I want to really pay down my debt, but I'm not making enough, or after spending and buying whatever I need to buy, or even buying the ones that I don't have to buy,
Right.
there is no money there. What type of advice would you give to such a person?
Okay, so what I do actually want us to do is, I have my handy dandy Millionaire Saver budget tracker system here.
Okay.
And I think we're gonna post it on the live as well, so you guys can see it. This is a template that I have used for many, many years. And when I got married, I actually introduced my husband to it, and he loved it. He's like the money person in the household. I'm the spender. I told you guys last time I'm the spender. He's a saver. So I've been using this for a few years now, and it has really, really helped me. So if it's something that you're interested in, please leave your email address in the comments section, and I would get everybody's information at the end, and I will send it to you for free. You can print it out and use it whenever you need. As a matter of fact, print it out, use it on every month to help you with your budgeting. There are different apps that you can also use when it comes to budgeting, and we'll talk about the different apps. But if you are a traditional person, which I think for a lot of times, it's much better when you have a piece of paper so you can actually write it out. So you can see it. Because when you see it, they say that when you write, you learn twice. Yeah. So you can read something, but when you rewrite it, it actually sticks a little bit better.
And I agree with that because I have a couple of accounts, but Bank of America is my everyday thing with the bills and everything. And most of the times in a month, they will say, oh, you're doing so well. You spend less than what you like. You spend less than what you deposit. But then I look at an account and that it shows like that. So I think when you have a paper and you are tracking everything, it really helps. Right. The online is not helping for me. So those of you who are like me, please, let's go to the paper. I think it will help.
And the funny thing that you just said is Bank of America will alert you that, oh, you spent, less than what you usually spend on food. You know what's happening? The reason that you don't see the money is because you're spending the money elsewhere.
Oh,
so Bank of America is looking at, okay, for the past 3 months, Pastor Victoria has been spending $300 on groceries, right? And they're aggregating, going to Walmart, going to Kroger, and they're doing their algorithm, and they're telling you that this is how much you spend, and you're happy. Oh, you're like, oh, I saved, but then the money's not there because we probably used the money to buy lipstick, or we used it to buy, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So the money is going somewhere else, and that's why having a budget is very, very important. A budget will help you to stay disciplined. A budget will help you to save. A budget will help you to pay down debt. Now, the one thing that I do want to say is you can't budget your way to building a financial legacy, but you can start with this. There are different things that if you want to build the legacy, there are other things that you have to do, but you can't not do budgeting. If you don't do the budgeting, you won't be able to build the financial legacy.
That is the main thing.
So like I said, I think we had shown the budget. So Pastor Victoria has a copy of the Millionaire Saver budget tracker. We're going to be doing it together. I did mine before I came, but I just want to go through it. And so if you're watching us, I think this will be a good time. You could pull out your phone, pull out your notepad, get a piece of paper and a pen, and just follow along with us. And like I said, if it's something that you're interested in, we can email it over to you at the end of the show so you can start using it. And so if you're following along, so Pastor Victoria, the first thing I want you to do is the top part of the budget list, of the budget tracker, is for you to list your sources of income. So your sources of income will include your salary. It will also include any dividends that you receive from any investments that you have. If you have a side hustle or, you do any side gigs and stuff like that. We talked a little bit about side hustling, having that passive income. And also if you do receive child support or alimony. And so what you want to do is you want to go ahead, and so I want you to just go ahead and enter it into the first part of it, which is so just go ahead and populate that so we know exactly how much money is coming in every month. Okay, so take a few minutes and do that. I think this is a great exercise to do. It will really open your eyes to a lot of things when it comes to your money. Okay, so once you've listed your sources of income, then we want to move into what I call my money list. So this is our spending tracker. So this is where the spending aspect comes in. And so what you want to do is you want to just start writing down all of the different expenses that you have every month. Now, Pastor Victoria, the one thing that I have seen over the years of teaching budgeting is every time people just list the usuals, rent, mortgage, car notes, auto insurance,
Yeah.
internet, electricity, our cell phone bill. These are like the major ones that people will put down. But one thing that we have realized is those are just, your usual every month expenses. But there are other things that we do every single month, every single day, like getting our nails done.
Yes.
I try. I try to get my nails done every month. And some months I'm just like, I can't afford to get my nails done this month. And so we're not doing it. It's not in the budget. When we look at the numbers at the end of the month, it doesn't look nice. So we're not getting nails done. For women, we have to do our hair.
Our hair, yes.
For men, they also do cut their hair.
Yeah.
Even though they might not, go as frequently or spend as much as the women will do. So all these different things, we want to make sure that we are listing down. So it doesn't matter how small that expense is, you want to go ahead and write it down. And so for mine, I have Amazon, because Amazon is an expense. If you have Prime, especially.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to take your total Prime cost, which I think is about $100, divide it by 12, put down whatever that monthly is. So you're paying it monthly. Hair, nails. If you work in a corporate setting, you might have dry cleaning. Those are all expenses that you want to do. So I actually want you to fill yours out.
Okay. So yes, I have dry cleaning. So I have to put an amount?
Yes.
Because my dry cleaning is even crazy.
You have to put an amount. I'm trying to get a pet. So if you have a pet, obviously pets have expenses as well.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things
so
that...
my gym
right.
is 25.
These are some of the things that would take our money that we don't realize that these are taking money from us.
Okay.
Some people go to therapy. I found out that they have therapy bills. So especially during Corona, if you have therapy, please go ahead and put your therapy costs down.
Okay.
I have HOA. I have a car note. I have insurance, auto insurance, home insurance, student loans. We're paying student loans, electricity. Don't forget your tithes. That's 10% of your income. So and if you have any sort of giving that you do as well, you can go ahead and include that.
Okay.
So on the example that we're showing on the screen that is filled out, you're going to see that this example that we're using, the person made $3,500 in a month.
Okay.
Now, once you've done putting all of your expenses down, the next thing I want you to do is we're going to label it. Okay. Now, it's very, very important that we label our expenses.
Okay.
Because what happens is there are certain bills or there are certain expenses that you can't avoid. And then there's some that we can manipulate a little bit.
Okay.
And so once you've listed all of your expenses, we're going to start labeling them. Now, I have 3 labels that I use when it comes to my budgets.
Okay.
The first one is bills, which is just the letter B. So you would put B by anything that is considered a bill. And a bill is really anything that could cause you to be taken to collections.
Oh,
if you didn't pay.
If you don't pay.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And so that is considered as a bill. So for anything that you have to pay, you know that it's necessary for your living, that is considered as a bill. So you want to put a B next to that particular expense. Now the next thing you want to do is look at what I call your UBs, which is the bills that fluctuates.
Okay.
So such as electricity, your gas bill. So those things you want to put UB next to them.
Okay.
So put UB next to all of those. And then finally, the last category of your label is your cash, which is C. So for anything that is not a bill or a UB, you want to put C next to it. And I can give you examples of some of those. Those are your gym membership. That's a C.
Okay.
That is not a UB,
So
and that's not a
it's
bill
a C.
either. It's a C. Your dry cleaning is a C.
Okay, so my gym membership is not even a UB. Why?
So a UB is anything that fluctuates.
Okay.
So like your electricity, you know.
But my gym membership have to be a bill because it's for my health.
Definitely, it's for your health. But what you're going to see very quickly is your C's are things that you have decided that you want to do.
Okay.
It's not necessarily, definitely a gym membership is not a need because you can go running in the park. You can,
catch me.
there's so many
catch
different,
me right
there's so many
there.
different things that you can do
Okay.
to make sure that you're staying healthy without going to the gym. But if you can budget well
Okay.
and get to the point where, because for me, for example, the reason I set up a gym membership was because to take advantage of the classes that they have.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to do the yoga, to do, the dancing and stuff like that. But I had to cut it out eventually because number one, I wasn't going, which which wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And two, I think you have to build your stamina first before you can even do some of these things anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends, it just depends on yourself and what your budget looks like. If, because some people might even say, maybe family time is a bill.
Yeah.
Because that's important to them. But if you can't afford to pay your rent, then family time might not necessarily be a bill just yet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So the things that I would say that you can put a B by is your rent, your mortgage, if you have homeowners association dues that you pay,
Yeah.
your car note,
Okay.
your auto insurance,
Yes.
your tuition,
Okay.
if you have daycare.
What about the internet?
Your internet would be considered as cash.
Oh, really?
It wouldn't be a bill.
But if I don't have internet, I can't work. So is it not a bill?
Right. So if you work from home, then that's a bill.
Okay.
Right. If you work from home, then that's
a bill.
definitely a
Okay.
bill for you.
Okay.
Even with your cell phone, same thing. I think we were having
Yeah,
this
we were
conversation
talking
before
about
the
it,
show.
yeah.
And I was telling Pastor Victoria that depending on, like I said, your goal, because remember with your budget, it's really just goal planning, right?
Okay.
If your goal is to save a certain amount of money and you look at the end of your budget and you see that you're in the negative, you have to go back into the budgets to see
And
what
see.
you can cut out.
Okay.
And so if you're married and your spouse has a cell phone, maybe for a couple of months, you have to forego your personal cell phone just so that you guys can save. And the funny thing is people would say it's only $50.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't come and kill myself. That's one thing that we say all the time now.
Yeah.
I can't come and kill myself. It's only $50. But remember, 50 times 12, that's $600.
Wow.
That's $600. There are people who can't save $600 in a year. So
Jehovah.
that can buy you a ticket to Vegas.
Yeah.
That can buy you. So these are some of the things that, we just have to, what is more important to me? Would I prefer to have the cell phone, or do I want to save so I can go on that vacation trip with my spouse?
Okay.
Or, would I be comfortable? Maybe, you want to save towards, there's so many different things. So like I said, you just have to focus on what your goals are. So what I actually want us to do is in the comments, depending on what you have the most on your list, if you are doing the listing.
Okay.
If you have more B's, I want you to type B in the comments
here.
so that we can see.
So tight is also B?
For you, I think you said tights is a B.
Tight is a B for me. What does credit card?
Credit card would be a UB.
UB. Then water is a B.
Yes. Water would be a UB because it fluctuates.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah. What about, I don't do gas now. Everything is electric for me. So that will be B. Yeah, electric will be B too. Then my phone will be what?
Your phone would be C.
C.
It would be cash.
Okay.
It's a want.
Okay, and okay, so Amazon falls where?
It's cash.
Cash.
That would be a C.
Okay, then nails
A
and
C.
hair, CC. Okay. Oh, all right.
So if you look down your list, what do you have the most?
Gas. Gas is what?
Gas. So your gas that you put in your car. That would be a UB.
A UB. Okay. Then food is U.
Is a C.
Food.
Yes.
But if I don't eat, I can't leave.
But you're still using cash for it. So you can manipulate that a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay,
So,
you say
I mean,
C.
your C's are things that you definitely need some of them, but not all of them.
Okay, so the B, let's get this right. So the B is the one that when you don't take care of it, they will take you to corrections.
Exactly.
But food is not a B because you can decide that this month you are eating less.
Yes.
Okay, nobody will report you.
Exactly.
Okay? So
exactly.
now I'm getting it.
And I like that you said nobody will report you, because when it comes to your budgets, there's no budget police.
Okay.
Nobody's going to come and tell you, oh, you said that this was a B and this was a C, and now you're treating it as this. It's going to help you understand where your money is going.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Awesome.
Okay, so what do you have the most, Pastor Victoria?
Oh my God, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then I have, so B, oh no, I have too much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, how can I have C27? Okay, then UB is 1, 2, 3.
Right, your UBs are usually is not as much.
Yeah, so my UBs is 3.
Okay.
My cash is 7. My bills actually is 7. I don't know what I did the right thing. But yes, my bill too is 7.
Okay. So your bills is 7, your cash is 7, which is fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's not wrong to have, but it's just really just so that you know that, okay, I have 7 categories that I have control over.
Okay.
So if we actually put the numbers in and we subtract your expenses from your income and we're in the negative, that way we know we go straight to the C's.
Okay.
That's where we're going to tackle first. So what in the C's can I reduce to make sure that I'm in the positive?
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
And I think it's my C's that I'm going home to sit down and work this thing out. So for me, I think it's my C's that I really have to cut, because I did my own hair this morning. Okay. I can work my hair out. COVID, guess what? I didn't go to the salon for almost 4 months. Okay, and I did my own hair. Guess what? I wasn't just home. I have to come and do church every Sunday and Friday, and I was doing Woman of Influence. So it's not like I stopped everything. So I still needed my hair to be right. And of course, I did it myself. You know, my husband is like, oh my God, you could have saved us a lot of money if you do a lot of work. You know, so here, looking at the hair, I think if I go back to the way I go back on COVID time, I can do something about it. Sure.
Exactly, and that money can go towards something.
Okay.
And I actually also want to say, I think with this COVID and everything that is going on, I have heard that the state is supporting families, like low-income families, with a little bit of grocery money. Yeah. And so I was like, this is great. Oh, yeah. They're giving about $200 to each child that qualifies for it. So that means that that's money that you're saving. Yes. So I'm expecting all low-income families, if you consider yourself low-income and you're getting this money, to at least save a minimum of $1,000, you know, in a year. Okay. Just from that. Because how much are we spending on money every month? You know, I mean, how much are we spending on food every month? Food takes up so much of our budget. Yeah. And so if we have that assistance, that should help us save the money. But you know, unfortunately, that's not what happens. Yeah. As soon as we get the assistance from somewhere, we allocate the money to something else. And so, and that's why it's very, very important for us to do the budgeting, and that should help us. So if you look at the money tracker, with this particular example that I have in my hand, the person made $3,500. Okay. Their expenses was $3,920.
Ooh.
So when you subtract $3,920 from $3,500, that means that they're in the negative $420.
Wow.
So at this point, you say, where do I get that $420 from? Because if you weren't doing a budget, if if this wasn't something that was incorporated in your financial planning, the natural thing that you would do is go to your credit card. And so that's when we start racking up a large balance on our credit card, because for us, everything that we have put a number to is something that is important to us, right? So had we not talked through, for example, like your cell phone, or like you said, your hair, naturally you wouldn't have thought that, oh, this is something that I can forego this month. You would still live life as usual. And every single month you're not going to have enough. And so when you do this, when I did this exercise and I went back in, so this person had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 C's.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So somebody beats me.
And so with that, I went through and I said, what can we take out to bring us back to a positive so we don't touch our credit card? Like I said, all of your B's are things that you really can't avoid.
Yes.
You have to pay those every month. Your UBs, you know, we can play around with it a little bit, but until you tackle all of your C's, don't touch your UBs, because you need electricity. You can't turn off all your lights in your house and live in the darkness just because you want to save some dollars. And so when we looked at this person's C's, we realized that, you know, their gym membership can be eliminated. That was $25. Their dry cleaning could be eliminated. Their hair could be eliminated. Their nails could be eliminated. Their Amazon could be eliminated. Any subscriptions that they have, you know, entertainment could be reduced, because they had entertainment. Actually, entertainment could be eliminated. Food, they had $250. We reduced that down to about $200, just so that you can, you know, make some adjustments there. So when we did all of that, we eliminated some of these things. You know, your cell phone bill, we were talking about that. You can always call and say, do I need to leave and come back to get the new promotion? Because, you know, the cell phone people, they're like, oh, we have a promotion going on at 50 for a new line and you're paying $100. So you pick up the phone, you call T-Mobile and say, I'm going to leave and I'll come back tomorrow, and you can give me that $50, you know. And so that's another way.
And normally they do something about it.
They do.
Seriously.
They do. Yeah, they do. And the one thing that I even want to say is, if you have a credit card, it is okay for you to call your credit card company and negotiate the rates. They will negotiate it for you, especially in this time. This is the best time for us to take advantage of COVID. Take advantage of Corona. Call them and say, listen, we are in a pandemic, and so I need you to reduce my interest rate. And they will do that for you, because they would rather give you a lower interest rate so you can afford it than a high interest rate where you can't afford it. So once we did all of that, we realized that the new amount for this particular person was now $3,040.
Wow.
So the person went from $3,920 to $3,040, putting them in the positive $460.
Wow, that's good.
That's really, really good. And so at this point, what you want to do is the next step. Once you've done this and you've cut your budget out, you slice it, you know, be sad a little bit, but you would get over it.
That's the whole thing.
You'd be okay. Budget, you know, when it comes to financial legacy, it's all about sacrifice. If you're not ready to sacrifice, you're not ready to build a legacy.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what kind of legacy you're building. Whether it's financial or whatever it is, you need to incorporate some sort of sacrifice in your legacy building. And so after you've done this, the next step is what I call defining your dollars. So what is left over is, what exactly do you want to do with that $460? Right? I think at the beginning when we were talking about different accounts that you can have. Now, I recommend that each person should not have any less than 3 bank accounts. You should always have a minimum of 3 bank accounts.
All right.
It won't kill you to have 5. It won't kill you to have 10. Just make
but
sure that
I know that some accounts, they charge. So if you're going to have that much and they're charging like 25,
that's why you need to make sure you know the right banks to open the accounts with.
All right.
I think we were talking about, so I was recommending to Pastor Victoria that for, let's say, for a savings account, you can do an online only savings account. And usually because they don't have physical locations, they don't have that much overhead. And so usually those banks won't charge you fees to have an account with them.
Oh,
so you
good.
can have an online savings account, and this way too, it gives you that discipline to not touch the money, because you can opt out a card, so they don't send you a card. So you really don't have access to the money. The only time that you can use it is if you transfer it into a checking account before you can use it.
Okay.
So when it comes to defining your dollars, like I said, you want to have a minimum of 3 accounts. You should have your deposits or your spending account, which is the account that your money gets deposited into. So your paycheck, it goes into that account. Then you want to have your bills account. That account should be solely for your bills. So when my husband and I got married, I had 2 accounts, and then he had 2 accounts. And then I think I had another account somewhere else. And so what we did was we combined all of our accounts together. We put each other's names on all of them, and then we labeled them on the accounts. Because, you know, online you can change the names on there so you know. So we know which one is where our money is coming in, which one is our bills account, which one is our travel account, which one is our savings account. And just recently we started an account for our car maintenance and our home maintenance. So we started a maintenance account where we're putting money in there for those types of emergencies when we have to do our maintenances on our cars, and if anything happens in the home as well. So those are the different types of accounts that you want to have. You want to have a deposit or spending account, you want to have your bills account, and then you want to have a savings account.
Okay.
Now, like I said,
so you want to have a savings and spending?
a spending or deposit account,
Okay.
and then your bills account.
Then the bills. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and then you can have other accounts. You can have your IRA account. If you have an account for your children, you can have the 529B account. You can have a travel account. And like I said, there are so many different sinking funds that you can also create that if you wanted to have money in those accounts as well. And so with this, what's going to happen is, especially for your savings account, we recommend an online-only savings account, like I said.
Okay.
Because what happens is a lot of times when we go to the stores,
I'll put it back. I
Yes.
call it, I'll put it back.
we go into the store, and trust me, guys, I am guilty of this. And that's why I told you guys, I am the spender.
Yeah.
And that's why I have to do the cash envelope system for budgeting for me. Because if I enter the store with my wallet,
Yeah.
I'm getting something.
I tried the cash, the envelope thing, and I stop it. I don't know, but I think I will go back to it. It's not too late to go back to it.
Definitely not. And it
Yeah.
helps a whole lot. It helps
Yeah.
a whole lot. Because when you go to the store, and even if you're using your card, and say you have all these different accounts, if you have your spending account and you go to the store and you want to buy something, and let's say you see something, you see this dress, you see this nice blouse, you want to buy it, and you look in your account, because that's what we do, right? We pull out our phones, and then we go into our bank accounts online, and then we see, oh, we have $200 in
Yeah.
there. And you look at everything that you're buying is about $100 and, almost $200, and so you don't have enough money to buy that blouse. And you look at your savings, and you're like, oh, I have $2,000 in my savings.
Okay. Okay.
What happens? We just quickly transfer. Let me just transfer 200 into the checking, and then you use it, because there's no penalty for
Yeah.
it. So by the time you realize, your savings keeps reducing.
Oh, my
And
God.
so it's very necessary that you have a savings account that is completely separate from your checking account. So when I say separate, you want it to be in a different institution. So if your checking account is with Wells Fargo, make sure your savings account is with Bank of
Chase or
America.
something, yeah.
Or, but the unfortunate thing now is we even have Zelle. So people just
That's the whole thing. Anyway, please, if you are watching us, I've been so into this because I'm doing my math myself. But if you are watching us, we are talking about spending and budgeting. I said earlier that spending is not an issue. So, I mean, that's what we do. But the budgeting is what we are lacking. I mean, most of the things that she's talking about, I'm 45. I have tried all those things. My issue right now is the discipline to stay on. Because the money, the cash in the envelope, I remember when I was doing it, it was very helpful because I don't like seeing like $100 and I have to use it, break it. So sometimes it's helped me to really discipline myself when I'm using cash. But when it's just card, you just swipe it and, so personally, I'm going back to that. I think it will help me. I want to be able to leave a legacy for my children's children. God have given me a lot of things to do, especially with Hands of Grace. I cannot do Hands of Grace if I continue the way I'm going. So I'm trusting God. I'll go back to some of the things that will really help me. I pray that as you are watching and you are hearing all this great information, please make good use of it, okay? Some of you, you have to really contact her one-on-one. When we finish, we'll put her information there, but you have to contact her one-on-one. Book an appointment, go and sit with her, look into your books, okay, and see what you can do better. I always say that it's good to start than to give an excuse, oh, it's too late, I'm 60, I'm 70, it's too late. No, just start a good thing. A good thing doesn't have age limit. No matter how old you are, if you want to start something that is good, just go ahead and start it. You might not enjoy, but your children, your great-great-grandchildren will thank you for the good thing you start. So please, let's do that. It's going to help us. We have a question here. It says that, how do you develop the financial discipline to be able to keep the budget you have planned? The financial discipline. That's a good question. Thank you so much, man of God. So how do you develop the financial discipline? Because that's another whole show.
It's a big ship, right? Yeah. I mean, as people, if you want to do something, I believe that discipline is something that it's a mindset. And I think we talked about that the last time. Really, when it comes to money, you have to have that mindset to say, this is what I want to do.
Wow.
And that's why it's very, very necessary. If you have a name to everything, it keeps you disciplined.
Okay.
If you don't put a name to it, if you don't put a name to the number, you're going to spend it. You're not going to be disciplined. So that's why it's very, very important for you to write it out. It doesn't matter how little it is.
Okay.
Write it out. Put a name to that. Even if it's $1, put a name to that $1. If it's a cent, put a name to it. And one of the biggest things is automation. Pastor Victoria, we live in a world now where we say computer age now, right? So if you can automate as much of your bills as possible, that's what's also going to keep you on track. So make sure that you have some sort of automation. Majority of the banks will actually help you with bill pay.
Yeah.
So you can set up bill pay with them.
Okay.
And that's why it's also important for you to define your dollars in the different accounts that you have. Because some of these, companies are a little sketchy. They will take more than they're supposed to take. So don't give them access into your account, but you send the money directly.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, you're just doing whatever and they come in and they take the money. So make sure you're setting up your bill pay so that whatever bill is what is outstanding is what
they
gets
will
paid.
take. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So your bank is the one that is taking the money to them, not the other way around. So automate as much as possible. Keep your accounts separate. If you have your bills account, you know exactly how much your bills are, which is your B's and your UB's. That amount goes into one separate account. If it's $2,000, that's how much you put exactly that amount in that account, $2,000. So everybody comes and, the bank takes out their money. So whatever's left in your spending account or your deposit account, that's your cash.
Okay.
From there, okay, this is what I have over. Let me start diversifying that into the different, savings vehicles that I want to do. So when it comes to having that discipline, number one, I think it's mindset. Number two is sacrifice. And number three is automation.
That's so good. The reason why I'm laughing. So Bank of America, as I said, is everything. And first, I said, I don't trust that account. Okay. And I remember sometime when Bishop Money gets there, he said, please let me go and take this money because this account. Why? Because I've set everything. So sometimes you open an account and you have 5,000 in the morning, and you go at night and the account is zero. The bishop is like, oh my God, where's all the money? The money is going to bills so when his money comes in, he will be running to go and take his money,
Right.
because it goes very fast. But I think what you are saying is very good. It's good to really, I use Bank of America. They have the pay, with the bill. So I've set everything, and they give you the date and everything. So you just set the date, you set the due date with it, and they'll just take you to the company, take you to a water company, whatever. So you don't even forget, because another thing that I think really takes money from us, it's late fee. We haven't even mentioned it. We should have put
Right. That
late fee.
should be an expense.
Late fee have to be expense.
Right.
And some of us, it's not that we don't even have, but you forget it. I have one of my daughters, I really have to sit her down and bash her because she have the money, just she forgot to pay the bill. So, I have to sit her down, and I force her to set everything online. And that has really saved late fee, because late fee can add up to the 200s.
It does. And it only
you
not
don't
even,
need that.
It's not just even the fact that you have to pay it, it also impacts your credit.
Yes.
That is
yes.
one of the biggest, percentages of your credit score. If you're constantly late,
Okay.
it affects your credit. So you can't afford to pay that extra, and then you can also afford for it to affect your credit. But the
Okay.
one thing that I have also realized a lot for us younger people is we have so many different subscriptions.
Oh, yeah.
We see this thing and it tells you, oh, sign up for it, and then you set it up automatically with your PayPal, $2.99, $5.99 here, and we don't realize how much all of that also adds up.
Wow.
So it's very, very important for you to take a step back. See, I think we get very comfortable with the whole banking system, because I remember when I was younger, when they used to have the check register.
Yeah.
Where every time that you spent money, you actually went to the back of your check, and then they have the register, you write it, and then you're able to see it.
Yeah.
Now we don't use the check register anymore, and we don't even look at our bank statements anymore.
That's the whole thing.
That's the problem. Whenever you're doing your budgets, you want to print your bank statements and literally sit next to it.
Okay.
Sit with both of them, next to each other, and then look. To make sure, and you say, okay, well, this is how much I said I should have spent, but it doesn't look like it. There's all these other things, and that's how you'd be able to know what are some of the expenses that I have that I didn't even realize they're expenses to me. So print out your bank statement. It's an exercise that I believe that is very necessary for us to do if we want to be better people at managing our money. Take a month, pull out your bank statement, look through it, get a highlighter. For us females, we like the colors. Get a couple of highlighters, just highlight them out, and then see the different colors. It's gonna make you very happy when you see the colors. And that way too, you're able to add it up and identify some of the places that you need to call. Sometimes we're paying for things that we don't realize we're paying for.
Oh, that's my daughter. Then our account will go over there, and you say, oh, they just took money. I'm like, they didn't take your money. You set
it up
for
and
it.
they're not, we're not taking advantage of that service. We're not doing what it's supposed to be doing for us. We're not, and we're just paying money. We're just paying money, $29.99 here, $10.99 here, $5.99 here, and you add it all up, and it really, really does add up. So it's very, very necessary that we pay attention to our budget, and also we pay attention to our bank accounts. I think I had mentioned earlier on that there are a few apps that you can use that would also help you with understanding what all is going out of your account. The one app that I use is called Mint. I think it's very, very popular. A lot of people use Mint. So just go to your app store, your Google Play Store, and just search for Mint. And that it's connected to your bank account. So it tells you exactly how much you're spending in each category. And that way you can go back and match it to your tracker to make sure you're on track.
Yeah.
There's also Every Dollar. I think that's a Dave Ramsey one. It's free. If you download it, it also helps you.
Every Dollar?
Every Dollar.
Oh, okay.
There's the Pocket Guard. There's Clarity Money. There's Good Budget. There's Personal Capital. So there are different types of apps on the App Store and the Google Play Store that you can download that will help you budget. But I also believe that a lot of the banks are doing these kind of algorithms to help their customers as well. So let's take advantage of it. There's so many different things. There are different graphs that you can see if you're more of a graph person. So just look at the things that are on your online banking. It's not just to see what you have so you can spend. It's there. They have a lot of things on there that we can use to our advantage.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Today we just went over the time because we have a little bit issue at the beginning. But we're going to end here. I pray that you have learned something out of the show today. If you have any questions that you couldn't ask, you can still put it on the comment session because Lady can still be watching and be answering all your questions. Her information too is going to be there. Lady, if you can put your information there. Her information is going to be there with her number. If you need any help, please make sure that you contact her. She's very nice to work with, I'm telling you. Very awesome to work with. So if you need any help, please just book an appointment with her. Go to her office. Her office is in Lawrenceville here, very accessible. Just go there and sit down with her and see what you can do to better your financial future. I think one of the things that really was hard with this COVID season is not just because of the virus itself, but it's because of money. And, I think even in the COVID, I did a show that domestic violence was going up. And it's all because of money. If the husband is not working, wife is not bringing anything home, these are the same people that was bringing thousands of dollars home. Right now, there was nothing coming on. Even if you ask a question, you are just annoying the person. So the Bible says that money is everything. Money is a defense. The love of it and being greedy and all those things is what God doesn't recommend. But I'm telling you, money is very good. And if you have more money, you can do a lot of things, for the kingdom of God. The reason why sometimes Christians, even your tithe, you are struggling with it. You are struggling with every giving in the church because you don't have. You just don't have because you don't budget, you don't plan. You just go around and buy a dress every Sunday. Who is checking you anyway? Why should you get a new dress on Sunday, a new shoe on Sunday, and you are not paying your tithe? What kind of cares are you bringing on yourself? But that's what we do. So we can't even compete with the world. We cannot compete with them because they have these things and they are using it. And we are just sitting in church, just speaking in tongues. Sometimes that doesn't make sense. So please get her information. Talk to her. See any help she can help you. And start something, especially those of us who have family, who have young children. By now, you have to start their college fund and everything. You start early, save you some headache in the future. I just took my 2 weeks ago. Only God knows what I went through. That's why we do shows like this. Just start early to help you, all right? So, lady, your last comment, what do you have for Woman of Influence? What can we do, please? Conclude it for us.
I want to say a big thank you to you, Pastor Victoria. I love you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity once again. I do not take you lightly at all. But I think that we are the generation of change. It doesn't matter how bad the situation may look like or what you think your background is. Wealth is something that God has intended for all of us. He wants us to be wealthy. He wants us to create wealth. He wants us to leave legacy for our children and our children's children. So let's go out there. Let's apply some of these, techniques that will help us be better people, just better stewards of money, because we do understand that the little that you have, if you can't manage that little, you won't be able to manage the bigger ones that comes to
Yes.
you. So the little money that we have now, let's make sure that we're keeping it, we're using it wisely, and that's how God is going to let it overflow in our pockets. God bless you.
I love that. If you can control your little one, it will become more. Okay. I think my mom used to say that a little drop of water make a mighty ocean. So those of you, when you see quarter on the floor, you think God haven't blessed you, please pick it up. It will go a mighty long way. But once again, thank you so much for watching. Please continue to share the video. We have a great here and there, but it has been a very wonderful information. So go to the first part that we did that was cut off. Continue with the second one. We will put all of those, the two part actually, on YouTube and everywhere, so you can still have the two part. But once again, thank you so much for joining. And next week, the same time, I will meet you here. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, successful days of the week. All right, God bless. See you again Tuesday. Bye-bye.